I'm Jenna LaGrange, and this is Embracing the Chaos. What is up, you guys, and welcome back to Embracing the Chaos. I'm Jenna LaGrange, and with me today, I have a very special guest.
Jack LaGrange.
Welcome, Jack LaGrange, back. Today, the podcast theme is going to be two voices, one path. We're going to talk about all life things, how we got started with the gym, how we handle being fighter coach, husband, wife, business owners, life, parents, all the things, and how we balance all that out. So, right out the gate, we are going to start with what made us decide to build something together, aka the gym, and how we got started with that. So, I will let you take on this first part because the gym is kind of your thing, and then I've helped kind of help support and grow as we've gone. So, why do you
Well,
want to start the gym?
I guess martial arts and fighting arts in general has been a part of my life ever since I was a little child. I mean, I'm 55 years old now and started when I was 9 years old in boxing and karate and anything else you can imagine. I've pretty much done it all. Um, but Muay Thai is my most favorite thing to do. And I've been a teacher since I was 12 years old, and teaching comes naturally to me. I've had students been able to teach anywhere from one student all the way up to I think the max I've ever had at one time is probably about 55 to 60 students at one time. I'm, I feel at home in a gym, running it, teaching people.
I'm going to tell you why I wanted to start the gym. I wanted to start the gym because I was working from home and you weren't working at the time and you were driving me nuts. And I needed to find something for you to do to get out of my hair. And we had talked about doing the gym and start the gym, but we were both working law enforcement at the time, and third shift hours just aren't, they don't work well for something like that because you're sleeping for most of the day and then trying to get ready for work and then you're off to work in the evenings, and it just wasn't conducive to our life at the time. But life happened. We both ended up at home and we were driving each other nuts. So I needed something for you to do. So I found something for you to do.
Well, apparently I was driving you nuts, but I wasn't being driven nuts by you.
Okay, okay. I think that's a lie. He's just being nice for the podcast.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Exactly. So we started the gym. Our start really came, where were we going to do this at? How are we going to do this? And figuring it out. And we got extremely lucky with the first place that we had. Small Business Incubator was,
Well, the first place we looked at was in a strip mall, and it was definitely way too small and extremely
oh,
expensive.
that's right, because it was like $2,500 for like,
No, it was $5,000
oh,
per
for the
month
double space if
for
we
the
went the
double
double
space if
space.
we wanted to double. That would have only it wouldn't have been conducive to do the single space because it was literally what 25 foot or so wide and
I don't
maybe
remember.
40 foot long. So I needed way more room than that. I planned on having several students in there, and that would not be very conducive to that.
No, the location would have been nice because it's a very busy area, but just the size wasn't right. And then I don't even remember. Oh, Simpson Overstock reached out to me
Well, we looked at
saying,
another building first. We looked at that one place on Highway 6 that was in front of the cornfield that was like an old beaten down building that was falling, basically falling in half.
yeah,
It would have been ideal because it was huge.
it would have taken a lot of work to get that. And we finally found the owners, but they were
Yeah.
not willing to work with us
And
at
they wanted to
all.
sell the cornfield with the building and
Yeah, they wanted like
want like $1 million.
millions.
I was like,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, until we win the lottery, that's not gonna happen. Um, And then we finally came across the Small Business Incubator. A business that was in that same building reached out to us and said that they had a space available.
Yeah.
and it was a 50 by 30-foot space, like a garage style with a big old garage door. And rent for that was started out at like $500.
500 bucks a month.
Yes. And
Well,
it,
utilities as well.
yeah, we had to pay utilities and stuff like that. But for starting out, like that was killer. That really helped make us successful.
It definitely got our foot in the door. I mean, we got a bunch of students in there, but man, when I was pushing 20 students, we were bumping into each other, sparring, and
Yes.
with the bag rack hanging up. I mean, that took up, geez, pretty much the back part of the gym. We're blocked off. We can maybe 15 or 20 people or 12 people would be an ideal for space that small. But this gym we have now, man, it's 4 times that size.
It is.
We,
But it's taken us a lot to get here because we just hit 4 years. August, well, June
well,
would have been
June,
4 years that we've been in business running this gym. And it hasn't been exactly easy along the way.
no. School sports is our direct
Enemy.
enemy. They take a lot of my students most of the time. School sports is like the killer of the kids class.
Now, I will say when it comes to the business side of things, you are a Debbie Downer. If our numbers dip, because I now know like our ups and downs when our student population is high and when it starts to dip a little bit, depending on what season, whether school just started or the holidays or summer trips or spring breaks, whatever. I know where our dips are, and you are the hardest to deal with during those time frames because you're just like, the world is ending. We're gonna not make it. You're just so down during
Well,
that period of
it's not
time.
really that. It's more along the lines of I feel more motivated when I have a lot of students to teach at one time. If I have ones and twos and three people in here, I'm feel less motivated to teach. I'm like, why am I here? I've been doing this for a very, very long time, trained with world champions. I've been around for a long time. And then I have three
You
people
are
come in.
old.
So I'm like, this is a waste of my time.
Well, it's not a waste of your time when we have those few students. I know it's hard, but those few students are some of the ones that do put forth most of your effort when they are here. So I know it is hard, and we do talk about it frequently when you get into one of those ruts, trying to keep you motivated and stuff like that is hard. Just like fighting, it's hard to stay motivated all the time. Especially when you are the only ones in the gym, when there are only a couple people in the gym, or you're the only one out there running the miles or whatever it may be, it is hard to motivate yourself. Now, maybe not for you
Not
because
me.
you're special. We all know you're special, but
When I was fighting, there was nothing that could stop me from being motivated. If I had to run, I'd run, no problems. If I had to hit bags, I had to hit bags. If I had to go to Dubuque to train, I'd go to Dubuque to train. If I had to go to Peoria to train, wherever I would go, Thailand, whatever. If I had a fight coming up, I was 100% motivated to do anything and everything to do it. And that's my attitude. So when people don't come to the gym and they don't have my attitude, it makes me upset with people.
and I get it. I can struggle from time to time with doing some of that extra stuff because sometimes I just want to lay on the couch and be a couch potato, trying to balance life, as we know, with everything else and fighting, is not an easy thing to do. So I get it, but this is where, um, on another podcast, we will have to talk about the way that you operate because I think it is very unique, in the sense that, like, once you have your mind to something, it is like you're stuck on it. Just like eating tuna and peanut butter to lose weight. It still blows my mind today. And supposedly, if you haven't tried tuna and peanut butter together, it's supposed to be pretty good.
Well, you
But
don't eat it at the same time. You eat the
you
tuna
use the
first,
same
and the
spoon.
peanut butter when you're done as a dessert.
No,
It,
you're
it,
using the same spoon though. It's got that tuna smell residue thing. Ugh, ugh.
you're just odd.
No, but that's
It's fish. It's great
it's
protein
gross.
for you, and then the protein from the peanut butter with a little bit of sugar turns it all into like a dessert at the end. So I mean, it's a killer. I've never been in the best shape of my life eating that stuff.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
I was ripped and had 6 pack.
So weird sometimes. Um, but yes, we've gone through our ups and downs and kind of how we work on it. Our big thing is, I would say, communication. Sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes we kind of shut down. We need that like space for a minute to really think and sit on it. but then we ultimately do talk about it at some point. There's some sort of communication where we're like, all right, we ain't vibing, we need to fix it. So we kind of we fix it. And that applies to the business, but that applies to every aspect of our life.
Well,
Uh,
pretty much. A lot of people ask, do you fight with your wife? I'm like, well, we really don't fight per se. We
we
more along the
disagree.
lines, we have a disagreement, but then we work through it and we work it out. I mean, believe it or not, that's better than I could say I've ever done with anybody in my whole entire life, where I'm actually on the same page with my wife because she understands where I'm coming from, gets me a little bit better than anybody else that's ever been in my life. My parents, family members, whoever, my kids, whatever, they don't get me like my wife gets me. We're able to work things out so much easier than it has been with anybody else in the past.
And I think what makes our relationship different, because it's different for me as well, is that we are also fighter and coach. And sometimes that husband, wife, fighter, coach overlap. And one of the most recent situations where we've about had it out in the corner during a fight, TBA's last year, 2024, my first fight, I had the flu or rotavirus or something. I was struggling. I tell you, I was struggling. And I took more damage than I should have. And we fight, not fight, but we get into some intense disagreements in the corner because I am very sensitive. And when you're coaching, you're not exactly sensitive. You are not the husband at that moment. So I do struggle because at that point, like, you're my coach, and not that you tell me I suck, but you're like, you're sucking and you need to get your life together. But I also,
Well, I have this uncanny knack to differentiate between husband, coach, teacher, whatever, dad, whatever. And when I'm in the corner in a fight, I am a coach. I am not a husband. I am not a cheerleader. Anybody that's ever been in my corner knows I am
oh
not
yeah,
a cheerleader. If you're
yeah.
messing up, you're going to be told about it, and you're going to be told about it harshly. I will not correct what you're doing right. I will only correct what you're doing wrong. And if you're messing up, you definitely know.
Oh, 100%. I've been there more than once, in our time together. But I think where sometimes we struggle is once that fight's done, sometimes I need a husband to vent to because the fight didn't go well. My coach was chewing my ass. Well, guess who my coach is? It's you. So,
Well, I need a minute to calm down too. So
yes, absolutely. And that fight, that first fight, 2024, I was not doing good. I did not feel good. I had to take some anti-nausea medicine, way more than I should have, just to even function for that fight. But I pushed through. I did take more damage than I needed to, and I just remember coming to the corner, and because we are husband and wife, I can read your facial expressions, and the disappointment that was just radiating off of you instantly pissed me off. So when I go to the corner and you're trying to talk to me about the fight and I just snap, I came unglued in that moment. It was 100% wrong, but I did. I snapped at you. And there's actually a beautiful picture that displays our emotions at that point in time.
I think I was looking at you like if
If
looks
you
could kill, you
you
would
could
be
you would have
dead.
killed me, and because I had turned around and my photographer friend was standing there. I knew he was taking pictures, so I'm sticking my tongue out, making goofy faces, and you are straight up death glaring me from behind. And it is a great depiction of what our relationship was in that moment.
Well, it's not so much a relationship at that point. It's more along I'm your coach. You're fucking up, and you better fix yourself.
Yes, 100%. Now, immediately after that, what did we do? We went back to our room and we talked about it. We sat down, and sometimes we raise our voices and talk loudly towards each other because we're trying to express whatever emotions or feelings that we have in that time. But we did talk about it. Um, I, for the most part, can see both sides sometimes. In that moment, I could not. I was not having it because I do look up to you a lot in the Muay Thai coaching realm of things. And to know that you're disappointed in me is something I struggle with a lot. And I think that deals with childhood trauma, which we've talked about, because my stepdad was not supportive, and if I did something wrong, it was like world ending. So now I treat everything that goes wrong as world ending. And I think in that moment, that's where I was at. I didn't want you to be disappointed. I wanted you to be happy that I won. And I know that you were. You were just unhappy that I took too much damage because I did have to fight the next day. And it was for the belt. Like, it wasn't just another fight. Like, it was a big fight and it was a big deal.
Well, like I said, I've been around the fight game for a very, very, very long time. And I have seen fighters go in there and take kicks, unnecessary punishment, and then when it turns around and have to fight again the next day or whatever, they're injured too badly to fight. And the especially if you're fighting a day and you have to sleep on it, and the next day when you wake up, if you took a hard shot to the leg or you took a hard shot to the body, that's going to bruise. And if you're taking unnecessary shots, you might not be able to fight the very next day. And like you said, it was for the belt, and so I was pretty pissed off. I knew you won the fight. I knew that you were good to go, but you took shots that you shouldn't have taken, and that was why I was so mad.
Absolutely. And I actually haven't watched that fight. I actually watched it today. I pulled it up just because I knew we were going to do this podcast, and I knew we were going to talk about it. And that moment sticks out the most in one of the rougher disagreements that we've had. And watching back now, you can just see, one, I'm tired. The third round, I lost 100%. I won the first two rounds, definitely. I just outthrew her, but I took a couple face shots, and a couple leg kicks that I definitely shouldn't have. So I agree, but in the moment, I did not. um, but how we handled the situation, I think, is what has made us successful for almost 10 years now. Because, yeah, we're coming up on 10 years. Can you believe that?
I know. I don't know how I stuck with you for 10 years. Jeez.
Shut your face. So I think if there was any advice that we had to give other couples out there that are trying to balance life as a whole is communication. I would say we communicate and probably over communicate.
Well, generally, if you're holding stuff in and you're not putting it out there for your partner to at least understand why you're thinking or why you're feeling some certain way, then they have no idea. And there's occasionally Jen will be in her mood, and
This
I'll
is
be
how we're
like,
gonna call
I'll
it.
just look at her like, okay, there's something up. What's going on? And she's like, I'm fine. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's definitely not true. Let's try again.
But you
And
know,
then she'll half an hour, 45 minutes later or whatever, and then she'll finally come out with it why she's mad or because I didn't do something or it's always me.
oh
I didn't do
no,
something or I forgot to buy her this present or
it's
something.
not so much. I just want you to think about me when you go to the store, okay? That I
I
feel
just
like
bought
that's
you
simple.
chocolate and a card
You
just the
did.
other day.
You did very good, and I'm very, very happy with that. But you also know that if you ask me and I say I'm fine, you know not to continue to push and that I will talk to you when I'm ready to talk to you.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I think we both need a moment to kind of process. I also need a moment to be like, maybe I'm the problem. He's not the problem. Maybe I'm the problem. Like, I got to go through that back and forth and like see with, am I mad because what he actually did is something wrong, or what he said, did he actually mean it that way? Or whatever, or because of my trauma or my experiences, am I taking it a certain way? And if I can't work through it and figure it out, then that's when I'm like, all right, we need to talk about this. And I need to know, did you mean to be, or did you mean to say, or like, did you mean it this way? Type thing,
It
so I
generally
can
comes
figure it
from
out.
text messages. She gets more mad about text messages because
Hate
she'll
texting
read
so
into it
much.
and she'll think that I'm saying something that I'm not because she read my text message in her tone versus my tone, which is 100% different than hers because she's goofy that way, I guess. But
That's why I've been trying to do like voice text messaging back and forth instead of like actual text messaging because I don't think it can be read properly. And that's the problem. Like, I don't know sometimes when you say something like, oh, he put a period at the end of the sentence, he's mad, or he just typed okay instead of okay, so he's mad.
if I
So
was
it,
mad, I'd just type K
okay.
exclamation point.
I think that's what most people do. They'll just do K period. Like, I'm
No,
mad.
K exclamation point.
Oh, exclamation point. Okay, so you're yelling at me.
Yes, K.
I guess I can agree with that. I will say that there are times that even after we communicate and we talk about it, that we still don't necessarily see eye to eye on things.
But we move on.
We do. We do move on. I think we both acknowledge that.
We're two different people and we have two different ways of thinking, so we're always going to have some disagreements, but as long as we can work through them, we're good to go.
Exactly. Now, have you always thought that way, or is that something that I've
It's
kind
only
of
been with you. Cause,
taught you along the way? Because I know
yeah,
I preach it a lot, because the way you think is not the way I think, and we talk about that. We talk about that a lot.
well, in my past relationships, I mean, Jen is my first love, and we've been together ever since high school.
Oh yeah,
So,
we've been together forever.
yep,
There's
I
nobody
got
else.
no other relationships. So the big thing is I've never, even with my parents growing up, I've never been able to just have a conversation or whatever, and just be able to transition between being mad and then not holding a grudge above, over them or whatever for something that they did or I did or whatever. But with Jen, I find it really easy to, you know, hold that anger in for a little bit, let it think about it or whatever, and then talk about it and then fix the outcome. It's a little easier to do with her versus anybody and everybody else in this world because I really hate people.
Well, I think we all hate people in our own way, and I do try to mitigate a lot for you and just for others because the gym there is, I don't want to say drama, but people are emotional. Fighting is emotional. So being a mitigator, being able to see both sides and then communicate back and forth, like try to get both parties to see both sides, is something I've gotten pretty good at because of the gym. And I think it's something that has benefited me in just all aspects of life, but because it's allowed me to see both sides in every situation that I'm dealing with. I think that's also kind of changed the way that you coach sometimes because you do coach people differently now because you realize that we're oh we're different people and we have different feelings and thoughts and we require different coaching styles. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, generally when I teach somebody or coach them in a fight, I kind of have to be in I guess, a different state of thinking. So the the reason why I can't be a husband in the corner is because I can't think um, to be nice while I'm in the corner because it's all about causing damage and ending the fight and winning. So I have to think differently. So when I'm dealing with other people, it's like if I'm working your corner, it's kind of like a two-sided way of thinking, I guess you could say. I'd have to think, okay, well, if she gets hurt, then that's going to be on our insurance and everything else. So, but when I'm dealing with somebody else, I understand they have to have insurance as well, but I don't want them to see them get hurt, but I also want to live vicariously through them. So I always tell my fighters to do what I would do when I was fighting. I would tell them to get out there and cut them off, run them into a corner, turn them and smash them as best as possible because I mean this is just what I do is I like to smash. But when dealing with you, I have to think differently because I also don't want you to get hurt, but I also want you to win. So I have to kind of shut off husband and turn on coach, and that just is sometimes. I mean, it's easy for me to do, but it's not. I mean, I don't know how to explain it any differently than that. It's easy for me to jump into coach mode because I've always been a coach, but then jumping into husband mode too, it's just kind of like an underlying thing, I guess you could say. I guess it's kind of confusing to explain it, but
It is. It's not, the relationship is hard and it's something that we acknowledge, but I think we've learned a lot by being fighter coach, husband, wife, especially in the communication realm of things. And we've talked a lot about that, how communication is what's really helped us get through. And that's something that we do now preach to our fighters and our students is communication. Communicating, over communicating everything because you can't communicate enough because people aren't mind readers. So the partner that you're sparring with, if they're going too hard, if you don't communicate with them that they're going too hard, and it's not displaying weakness by saying, "Oh, hey, you're going too hard." It's a matter of respect between people. So we preach communication literally in everything that we do, from the gym to our personal lives, just everywhere that we're at. And we've implemented it and we've gotten pretty good at it over the last 10 years of being together. We do have our times where we just can't vibe sync up at all and we're miscommunication, and it takes about a week for us to finally figure it out and get linked back up. So I think overall, if we were talking to other couples who were trying to build businesses or just struggling within their relationships as a whole, would you agree that communication is what has saved our marriage over and over and over and over again? Because it hasn't been easy. We'd be lying if we said it was rainbows and sunshines. I think every relationship has their highs and lows just because that's the way life is. But what are your...
I don't think that our relationship ever was in a position to need to be saving by no means, but
Oh, yeah, I
I
agree.
think I think our relationship has blossomed from communication because I think if you're not able to convey your thoughts and your dreams and your wants and needs to your partner, I think that you'd be just living in a numb situation, I guess you would call it,
Like a roommate.
like a roommate having a like you're living in a house with somebody who's your roommate. That's it. You know, have no personal feelings towards them, good or bad. So as far as communication, you know exactly where you stand. You know exactly what you're wanting, and you're able to convey it back and forth to your partner. Because if you don't, I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, your relationship's gonna die because it's got no substantial foundation.
I agree. And I think that is probably what I'm most proud of in our relationship is like how much we've grown in the communication aspect and learning that sometimes we communicate differently, either through body language or little things like buying chocolates when I'm having a bad day, things like that. Communication doesn't just have to be verbal, it can be done
You
through
have to let
other.
everybody know that I'm kind of a nice guy. Really?
You're a big old softy, and the world does know it, whether you like it or not. So, but communication, it's done not just verbally, but physically through other avenues. And I think that's something that I'm most proud of in our relationship, um, that we apply, and something that I want to make sure our girls, our kids, find in their future relationships. Though I know you say they'll never date.
Oh, they won't be dating anybody.
Doesn't have to be dating, it could be friendships.
No.
It can be, yes, it'll be
Girls, I
everything.
can have friends that are girls, no boys.
Okay. Well, either way, they still need to be able to communicate with their friends when things make them unhappy or things that do make them happy, whatever it may be. Talking about it, communicating um, is something I think we both can agree is a huge aspect of life and what makes us successful, not only in our relationship, but as well in our business.
Yeah, I'd say you're correct.
All right.
It's kind of like sparring, I guess. I mean, you're sparring with somebody. It's kind of like a relationship. I mean, if you look at it and you're always trying to win, then you're gonna lose in the long run ultimately. So same thing in sparring. Sparring is a back and forth. I call it tag. You're playing tag, so to speak.
Yeah.
So in the same thing in a relationship, the you're having an issue with your wife or your wife with your husband, whatever. You're you're not trying to win this situation because when you try to say, well, okay, well, see, I told you, blah blah blah, that's gonna change the whole dynamic of that conversation. But if you break it down in more of a like a tag, like make a statement, see where that goes, and then continue on with that, so that you guys can both understand your both thought processes on that situation. So I I kind of just attribute it to, or not attribute it, but compare it to sparring because if I'm sparring too hard, then you're gonna get hurt. Same thing in a relationship. If I'm coming off on to you too hard or I'm saying the wrong things, then you're gonna get hurt. So you have to look at it more along those lines.
I agree. I agree. That's a good way to look at it with sparring because you are going back and forth. There is that communication in a way back and forth. Like, if you kick me too hard, guess what? I'm going to kick you back just as hard, or if not harder, to get the point back. And I think the same thing applies when you're having a conversation with your significant other, friends, family, whatever it may be. If you come at them a little too hard, guess what? They're going to return that, if not harder. So people get hurt in that way. So I do agree. I think that's a good way of looking at it. So with that, I think the biggest thing that we would give to the couples out there, the people looking to learn how to better their relationships through the chaos that we all live in, is communication. And we couldn't reiterate that enough because I think we've said communication probably 3 million times throughout this entire podcast. So I hope you guys learned something today from this podcast. So with that, stay weird, stay loud, and embrace the chaos.